All right, welcome back. We are almost there. This is part 4 of our series on DreamCon company documents, how to style them. If you missed part 3, then it's in the description below. So let's get into it. Okay, so how to style your document. The key is this little part of the toolbar up here. All right, this is where all of your various styles of text are saved. So what we're going to do here is actually go through and copy a separate document that was created and formatted elsewhere in Microsoft Word, Guide to Cat Sitting, and we're going to try and restyle it. So the first thing I'm going to do here is actually change my title. I'm going to make it Cat Sitting Guide. All right, I'm going to delete this. So now we got a blank page. I am going to go over to my other document, select all. That's Control A, and then Control C, or just use the menu here to copy. Let's go back. And we have a couple of options for pasting it in. So we could do a pasting without formatting. All right, so that would be Edit, Paste without formatting, or Control Shift V if you're using the keyboard shortcut. Now what that does is it automatically puts all of the text in our default normal text with the correct font, the correct size, and the correct text color, custom color, this midnight blue. However, in this particular case, because I've already formatted it elsewhere with, that's the wrong one, with headings, titles, etc. So you can see that here, it's easy to see which are the headings, and when I copy it without formatting, it is not. So actually, I'm going to undo that, Control Z, or just click the undo button here. I'm going to paste it normally. And that brings in all of that formatting from the Microsoft Word document. And while that formatting is not what we want, it makes it easier to see what are headings and what are not. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is reference, let me just show you something here. If I go to the bottom of this document, and there are all of the parameters for each of these styles of text, right? What font to use, what size of font, whether it's centered or left aligned, whether it's bold or not, how to use capitalization, what the spacing is, and that particular color that we're using for all of our text. All right, so if I go up to the normal body text section, you can see that it should be size 11 and it should be in Roboto font. And again, it's using this same basic color for everything. So I'm going to go back, and just to make things easy on myself, I'm going to select all. I'm going to change the font to Roboto. This is a Google font. It's kind of a standard one that's very easy to read and applicable in lots of situations. And then I'm going to go ahead and change to that default custom color that we have. And if you've set up your document correctly, it's going to be saved right down here, and it is 072455. And now it's all the same color. And again, you can see it here in the guidelines, 072455. Now, the nice thing is the vast majority of the time, you're not going to need all of this nerdy stuff here because it's all saved right up here in our style template, saved styles. So let's go through and I'm not going to go through the entire document, just to show you enough how to get it done. So I'm going to select this. This is the title, I know that, and I'm going to change this to title. All right, and now one thing that doesn't get saved is the capitalization, is not saved in this in these saved styles. So the capitalization you have to do individually, which is another reason why I wanted to stick to sentence case. So I'm going to go to Format, Text, Capitalization, and make this uppercase. That's the only thing, like I said, that we have in the document that's uppercase. But this is quite a long title, so what I'm going to do is shorten this. Never use a longer word when a shorter one will work just as well. And then I am going to add a subtitle. I'm going to click subtitle here, and then I will write how to keep our cats alive and well. We're gone. Okay, so now we got a subtitle. I do recommend adding subtitles. It just gives a little bit more information to the person right off the bat so they understand what they're going to be reading. Okay, so I'm going to change this now to, I'm going to click on normal text, and you see it shrunk down a little bit because it went from size 12 to 11. All right, and then, you know, these contents, I actually don't need the contents here. I'm just going to delete these. And the reason being is that we are going to be creating contents, a table of contents on the side just by selecting these correct headings. All right, that spacing is a little big up there. I'm going to take some of that away. I'm going to change this now to our H1. So how do I know that it's an H1? Well, if you remember, going back to the previous document, we talked about the sections that you use. So in my template guide, I have 4 sections: how to create, how to write, how to format, and how to style. So each of those sections has an H1 heading. So if I go here, you'll see I click on this, H1. If I click on that, it's an H1. All of these are. And that designates that this is a main section. Now inside of those sections, let's say if I go to the formatting section, I had 4 subsections: paragraphs and indents, lists, capitalizations, and links. And each of those, if you pay attention up here as I click on them, those are all H2s. All right, now once you get beyond that, you can use H3, which is a even smaller variant of text, or you can just use bullet points or numbered lists as I do. All right, so let's try it here. This actually could be an H3. All right, and then I'm gonna move this up there maybe. No, I'm not gonna do that. And then here's also another H3. Make sure this is normal text. All right, that too. All right, so that could work. But honestly, in this case, I feel like we'd be better off just making these bullet points. So we're gonna pull that back and pull this back and make both of these bullet points and unbold them. Or unbold the whole thing, but I'm going to select both of these kind of titles at the front and bold those. Okay, I think that works a little bit better. All right, so let's go with that same format for this down here. I'm going to select this all and make those into bullet points, and then select that and select that, make those bold. And remember that we want to have spacing in between our list items. So I'm going to go to Format, Line and Spacing, and add space after list item. Okay, there we go. All right. So again, deleting this. That should already be, let's see, is that already in heading 2? Oh, pretty close. Okay. So you get the general idea, and then you just kind of keep going down, and you'll notice, look, it started building our table of contents on the way on the side, and then these, again, are clickable. So like I said, I'm not going to go through and do all of this. It'll take too long, but you see I'm adding spaces here wherever I can. In this case, I don't need the numbers, and I would just go through and do just like I did and make sure that each one has the correct heading. And remember, you start with your H1s for your main sections. If you have further divisions, you go to H2. Further divisions, you go to H3, or bullet points or numbered lists. Now, a couple of things I want to show you. Let's say that I wanted to add at the bottom or somewhere in here. Let's put it here. Let's say you want to add a quote or some kind of point of emphasis. So I'm going to just copy in a quote here just to spice things up. And let's jam it right in there. Paste. Okay. And then I've designated H4 specifically for quotes or something that needs to stand out. Okay, so that is there if you need it. And then the other thing is, like we talked about, we want to be able to add in photos. So I'm going to very quickly show you that. Photos or illustrations or whatnot. So to do that, you go to Insert and then go to Image. I'm going to upload from the computer. It's taking a little bit of time. All right. I'm going to insert a picture of Fluffy. And you're going to see, first off, that the image is way too big. Watch this. Taking his time. Way too big. All right, so now there may be some cases like with screenshots that are wide that you do want it to take up the full width. But in this case, I don't. I just want to kind of slide it in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Image Options and then change the size. Right now it's 7 inches wide. Let's go to like 2.3. Okay, so now watch. It came back up here. But this still looks weird, right? And that's because of text wrapping. It is set inline instead of wrapping. So watch this. I'm going to click on Wrap, and then the text will wrap around it nicely. Okay, so, but with the picture of the other cat, it's not enough space for that, so I'm just going to move it down. And then we're going to insert a picture of her here. Again, insert image, upload, go to this, I'm going to input it. And again, she's going to be way too big. So I click on the image, click on Image Options, change the width. Okay, and let's say that I want to put her on the right. All right, first of all, change the wrapping text so that it wraps around, and then I'm going to drag her over here. You have to just sort of play around with this until you get it right. Let's see. Let's just try and drop it and see what happens. Okay, that works out pretty well. Except that now she's interfering with the bottom of the page. So some of this is just kind of trial and error. It may be important to move this just to the next page. So I'm going to drag her down and put her like right there. A little lower. All right. Let's see how photos can be a little bit tricky to work with. Sometimes it is just easier if you have a bigger one that can go across the page, if that'll work. So in this case, that'll work pretty much just fine. I might slide it up a little bit. All right. So you may have to do some playing around with things. All right, so I believe that we have covered pretty much everything here. Of course, there may be stuff that's missed, so make sure you do read through this document because that'll have more details that I might not have mentioned. But I hope this has been helpful, and I thank you very much for watching. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or ask your manager, and we will help you. All right, thanks very much, and have a great rest of your day.